We'll start right at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock.
Perfect.
Okay, and welcome this afternoon. This is a public meeting of the South Shore Arts Region 1 Art Project Support Panel number 2. I'm Larry Breckner of the Regional Arts Council, Vice Chair of Chesterton Arts Center, and also Board Chair for Lakeshore Public Media. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2020, and we're meeting by conference call and streaming live in a webinar. We'd like to welcome applicants who may be listening today. I'd like to remind you that you are muted for this review. There's going to be no direct contact or conversation about the evaluation and disposition of applications before, during, or after this panel meeting. At this time, we'd like the panelists to introduce themselves, stating their name, occupation, and where they're from in the state, starting with Barb.
Hi, I'm Barb Hauk. I'm a retired librarian from Crown Point Community Library, and I live in Dyer, Indiana.
Thank you, Barb. Sam?
Hi, greetings from Gary. I'm Sam Love. I am a 2019-2020 Indiana Arts Commission Individual Advancement Program recipient and part of the on-ramp cohort. And I am the editor of the Gary Anthology. Which
okay, Sam, were we finished?
Yeah, finished.
Okay, we'll move on. Sam, if you were finished, we'll move on to Esther Golden. My audio cut out for me here. So Esther Golden, please.
I guess I'm the artist formerly known as, but I oversee an art gallery and performance venue, and I sit on several boards for Michigan City, the Michigan City Community Enrichment Corporation, and Michigan City Urban Enterprise Association. And with Larry Breckner, I'm the co-host of Art on the Air.
Very good. Judy?
Hi, I'm Judy Caddick from Highland, Indiana. I am a retired middle school teacher and the founder and president of the Highland Education Foundation.
Okay, thank you. And Jennifer?
Hello, I'm Jennifer Gouldy. I work in the Crown Point Community School Corporation in the Special Needs Department.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. And I'd like to introduce Region 1 Representative for South Shore Arts, Donna Catalano. Donna?
Thanks everybody for coming out. Thank you for giving up your time, reading all these grants and taking part in this important process. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Now we're going to begin the panel review, and this is how the process will work. I will announce the application. We will review and ask the first reader to begin the discussion. The first reader will then provide their assessment of the application based on their evaluation criteria and perspective. Panelists are reminded the applications do not need to be recapped since everyone here on the panel has read it. Just provide your comments. After the first reader is finished, I will ask the second reader to present any new, additional, or opposing comments. We're not looking for a consensus at this point, just a full evaluation from different perspectives that the panelists bring to the table. After the second reader is finished, I will open the discussion for any final comments on the panel. Remember, in the interest of time, we're only looking for additional or new viewpoints. If a panelist has a conflict of interest, that panelist will be placed on hold while that application is being reviewed. Finally, once the application has been reviewed by the panel, we'll ask the panel to either update their scores in the online system. It's common sometimes for scores to change as a result of this for broader discussion. These scores will save automatically. Is there any questions for my panelists? Sorry, I think I dropped out there for a second, so I apologize. Okay, so if we have no question, we're going to move on to our first one. Just lost my. We'll start with the Memorial Opera House Foundation, and our first reader is Barb. Go ahead, please.
Hi. The project is described in great detail. The impetus behind this is the need to free up space to fulfill the demand for more on-site programs and to preserve the costumes. Based on their past experience, they certainly they made a good case for needing the space. The qualifications and experience of the costuming staff are documented. The employment of 8 Chesterton and Valparaiso high school students interested in costuming is a bonus for the community. Good quality costuming enhances the audience's experience. Appended photos show stills of a variety of productions to demonstrate the quality. And hold on a second here. Whoops. I'm working for my, oh, I guess that's it. So that's the artistic quality. Community engagement. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I'm not used to working from my laptop. Memorial Opera House is making a number of efforts to afford access for all. They have funding for American Sign Language interpreter for some events. They offer free preview shows to remove the financial impediments that might exist. Scholarships are available to children for their Limelight's Children's Playhouse programming. Relocation of the costumes to the basement improves access and frees up space. Print and online campaigns are provided and very professionally done. Direct and indirect participant numbers are documented. Project management. Hold on. I'm sorry. I usually do this on my tablet, but that's got Zoom running. Project leadership is in the hands of the executive director. Experienced costumers and student assistants will perform the activities of the project. The timeline and activities are well formulated. The budget includes a helpful explanation as well as the monetary figures. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Barb. We'll move on to our second reader.
Nothing to add. I thought it was very well written. Everything seemed in order.
I wonder if we lost Larry. Let's open it up to the rest of the in the meantime. Any other comments?
Yeah, did anybody else have any comments?
I do. I thought it was a brilliant thing to ask for. It's so important to keep the costuming in good repair. So, and I love the fact that they also are a resource to lend to other theaters as well. So it becomes even triply more important to keep them inventoried and in good repair. So thank you.
Are there any other comments from our panelists? Okay, I would ask if there's no other comments, please finalize your scores, update your online comments, and let me know if you need more time. And Chapin, I got a question for you, tech question.
Sure, what's up?
Am I being heard okay? Because I dropped out like twice from the connection.
Yeah, we can hear you. It did, in that instant, you kind of fell off, and so I had spoken in the meantime. If you want to try the turning off the video, I know that for my slow connection, that is helpful.
Okay, I'll just go to the fixed picture at this time. That's a handsome looking guy anyway. Okay, panelists, do you need any more time on Memorial Opera House? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to Duneland YMCA. Sam, you're first up as first reader. Mute your mic.
Thank you. I'm opening the grant right now. I had an older order. But I can say right now, I really liked how this particular grant approached the idea section in here. I think they really, told a story, but also showed how they're putting this into action. So as far as the artistic quality, what I like the most about this is that they are working to integrate more artistic programming into their health and athletic programs. They have a very clear social responsibility and youth development program, integrating the arts into that. It's explained in the grant how they do that. It's interesting how they're learning from past experiences. They found that less attended summer programming, while very interesting, it wasn't bringing out a lot of people. So this is taking some of that and trying something new to draw more people from the community in. They want to shake the idea that the YMCA is only for athletics and health by bringing the arts into this. And they have looks like a very happy and well-attended seniors programming series, as I saw in the promotional materials. As for the idea section, again, I think this is idea in action. This was a section I took very seriously, and I'm glad IAC has added this to these proposals. It's clearly that Duneland YMCA is engaged in the community and doing great work on maintaining an inclusionary environment. I appreciate that they talk about in their proposal how they are partnering with local arts groups like the Chesterton Arts Center, along with education and healthcare partners. Efforts are in place not to deny service because of any financial or physical challenges. So very commendable there. And as for project management, clearly well organized. It's demonstrated in here they have the experience in the years to do that. And that's all.
Okay, thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our second reader, Jennifer.
I agree with Sam. I thought that this was very well written and hit a lot of the key points that I was also looking for in the IDEA section. I really felt that the membership director that's putting this together should be applauded for her work in creating this. I feel that it's going to be a great asset to the community, and I like the artistic quality of it, as well as the fact, as I stated, that it's going to be available to a large group in the community. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Is there any comments from anyone else on the panel regarding Duneland YMCA? Okay, hearing none. If you take finalize your scores, update any online comments, and go for it. Let me know when you're done, and we'll move on. And does anyone need any more time? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our third one, which is Porter County Parks and Recreation. Esther Golden, you're on.
All right, for Porter County Park and Rec. Well, this is the first year for this particular program. Porter County Parks and Rec, they have an extensive history of putting on really quality events at Sunset Hill Farm. The setting is really beautiful there, and it's really conducive to the scope of the event that they're talking about in their grant. They really chose crowd-pleasing musicians for this first one, kind of guaranteeing they had their target audience completely in mind when picking this first round of musicians and artists. They have a long list of past successes and community engagement. So the idea part of it is very well thought out, and they've had a lot of experience with it. Now, so with the projected income, it doesn't match the expenses, but the numbers seemed reasonable for a first-time venture. And the experience that that team has, I think it will give the event an excellent chance for success. And several concerns that I had was the fast timeline, and I hope that everything is already in place. And the second statement I had on that was I don't have the quote. Let me see if I can have the quote from there stating, but they stated that making the fee, they wanted to make the fees accessible. And, you know, I thought that, and I don't know if this is an appropriate comment actually, but that the $10 entry fee for someone coming to the movie might be a burden for a single person wanting to go to all of their events, that the amount, because it would be the same charge every time. But it looks like it's going to be a fine time, and I thought it was a really great event that they were attempting to put on. And that's all I have to comment on. And did I lose everybody?
Okay, we'll move on from Esther to Barb. Barb, your second reader?
Yes, I agree with the fee for the movies. I think that's going to be an impediment to them because so many community parks and recreation places offer free outdoor movies. And my other concern was the terrain. So when they're trying to appeal to seniors, they acknowledge the fact that you have to cross some pretty rough terrain to get to the amphitheater. But one of the things I did like especially was the inclusion of the open mic night for teenagers. So that gives them a broader audience and hopefully will get them, give them the experience to perform in a setting that they might not have otherwise.
Okay, thank you. I switched audio, by the way, because I was having trouble with the streaming. Any final comments from the panelists? Okay, well, hearing none, make your final comments on your sheet, and we'll move on to the next one as soon as you're done updating your comments. Is everyone clear updating your comments? Very good. Well, we'll move on to Rockopelli Music Festival. Judy, you are our first reader on that.
Okay, the Rockopelli is been around for quite a while, and so their purpose was clearly stated, and it was obvious that they used feedback from previous years, so that was a good thing. The videos demonstrated artistic quality, selection of the artists. They went with a lot of the popular groups, but I know that some more aspiring artists also from the region were included. They had collaboration with stakeholders was well outlined. Project manager was experienced and qualified, having done this before, and the timeline and budget seemed more than reasonable.
Okay, is that your whole comment?
That's it.
Okay, Esther, go ahead for a second reader on that one.
Thank you. I thought they have an extremely impressive mission and goals and successes. They were really mindful of sharing this event with multiple towns and collaborating with a variety of organizations that are also doing great works. The whole idea and follow through is, I found very humane, and the benefits to the community and then the outer community are really amazing. And I think it's a great way to lend a helping hand in a community fun way. And that's the end of my comments.
Are there any other comments from the panel? Okay, hearing none, we will now have you update your scores or comments, and then let me know if you need more time. Okay, is everyone completed? All right, we'll move on to our fifth ballet, Folklorico Tapatio. Apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Jennifer, you're the first reader on that one.
Hi, thank you. I felt that this application was well written. They've been doing this for 8 years now, so they have a lot of a big following for this. They increased their audience size up to 450, resulting in a sold-out show by expanding their marketing to not just locally, but to the Chicagoland area, trying to reach some of the other Mexican folklorica arts out there, not just the dancing part of this, but they reached out to musicians, the mariachis, and got them involved in the show as well. At first, they were just getting responses and an audience of family members and friends coming in to see the dancers. And after reaching out to a larger area, they really increased their audience. So they did a really great job with that. And they've also incorporated other parts of the arts into it. With the IDEA section, they have reduced ticket prices for not just adults, but for children. I would like to see the marketing material done in other languages. I didn't see that anywhere in the application. I may have overlooked it, but I would like to see that done, and maybe even in larger font for the visually impaired. But the application does mention how they structure their shows to not conflict with any school activities that might be going on, and that they're aware of the school schedule, so that the children that are involved can practice and do the recitals for the show, and then also perform in the shows. And they do have a lot of variety of ages, from children up to adults over the age of 25. Overall, I really felt like the grant was well written. They have a large number of adults that they have helping with the program, and I thought it was a great way to incorporate the Latin community into the arts for Porter County.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome.
And thank you. Esther, we'll move on to you.
All right, I think it's a spectacular event. The videos were fabulous and really gave you a good sense of what was going on, as well as the clips from the bands that were doing. I love that they found a mariachi group that had female performers in it as well. Being the 9th year, I am sure that this is on everyone's calendar. They've developed a very good following. In the idea section, I think it's extremely inclusive, thoughtful, and affordable. And I think it was a very well presented budget. There was no need to fill in any blanks. They really kind of covered everything, even the insurance. So I appreciated reading it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Esther. Any other people have comments on the panel about this particular grant application? Okay, well, hearing none, I'll give you a minute or so to update your scores, comments on your panel. Okay, any other comments before we go? All right, we'll move on to our next panelist, St. Mary's Catholic Community School. Barb, you're the first reader.
The idea that this musical production is student controlled and involves every 8th grade student at St. Mary's means that all the kids with talents in the arts get to put them to work, and those that don't still get to be and have an integral role to play. Auditions allow for selection by the students with the roles assigned by the experienced musical director, which gives it a balance between an authority figure and the kids themselves. 8 years of past productions are reviewed for input in developing the musical, as is feedback from school administrators, teachers, alumni, and parents. Photos of past musicals show students both on stage and backstage, which is helpful, but it would have been nice to have a video clip included, as is requested for most performance applications. Got more. The musical both involves and serves a diverse community of students, faculty, parents, and the public. Because this is a capstone project that is part of the curriculum, only the school community is involved. The school is accessible and the students themselves are diverse. There are no financial barriers to potential audience since they have replaced a set ticket price with a free will donation. There is no specific method of evaluating their success. Again, because this is a required student project, that is a factor. There still could be a survey or other means for feedback. Marketing materials included a poster and program, social media links are general, and were not specific to this project. Their projected participation is well explained. The music teacher in charge of production has 8 years of experience in teaching, as well as experience with children's theater. His assistant is a teacher with actor training. The timeline and activities are well documented and commensurate with the project. Budget is based on past productions and seems to be reasonable. And that's my evaluation.
Thank you, Barb. Okay, I would like to move on to our second reader, Judy, if you would, please.
Yes, I really liked the grant. The application was fairly well written. I did have a couple of concerns as far as this goes. One is that the community outreach is very limited. Seems to be friends, family of the participating students. And so I was wondering if there wasn't a way that they could do a little more outreach to get some more community involvement. The other concern that I had was in looking at the budget, almost 70% of the budget was for a stipend for the director. It was just a concern that I had. That's it.
Panelists, any other comments you'd like to make on this particular application? Okay, hearing none, if you would please update your online comments and scores. Okay, we will move on to our next application, number 7, Valparaiso Theatrical Company. Sam, you're first up as the first reader.
All right, thank you. This is a new endeavor by a group that has a few years of experience. The goal of this project seemed clear, staging a live red radio style performance. They describe a method here for engaging new or less experienced performers in such a type of show. They also have a method for expanding their own talent pool and engaging performers who might not otherwise have the time or experience to commit to a more typical theatrical performance. That said, though, there were a lot of questions that I felt were unanswered to me in the overall application. I thought there were a lot of places where things could have gone into more detail and, again, tell that story. So one thing I noticed, the mission statement included on the application was considerably shorter than the mission statement they have on their social media or on their website. And, you know, that's kind of the front door. It's the first impression. And I think at all times that should be fully elaborated, because everything we do does stem from our missions. So a few unclear things came out of that, and that left me with some questions. What would be the criteria for selecting performers, and what kind of quality control is in there? I know from experience working with folks who aren't professionals or experienced that things can go wrong up there. Even with a script to read from, people can freeze up, and that's happened in things that I've staged before. What does this company want to grow into? If they want to bring more people into it, where do they want to go with that? How would word of open auditions be shared? How could a new audience find out about something like that? Those were some of the artistic quality questions that I had. As far as the idea section, I like how they engage with local charities very directly, specifically working with liaisons to identify certain special needs, hearing, visual impairments, and they have, it sounds like historically they have some ways of accommodating those things. I'd like to see more intentionality in the idea statement, though, because it is such a great way to tell the story of how we Hoosier artists are breaking barriers and providing our creative services to the more broad Hoosier community out there. So there is some vague language like would like to, we may, we expect, regarding audience engagement and growth. I think one of the things they say is they hope that moving into a new location will bring a new audience. I don't think that's assured. So, you know, how would you engage those audiences? And then as far as project management, I thought this was the strongest part, actually. I did get the sense they know what they're doing. The budget had a number of lines of detail in there, which I always like to see, because people sometimes forget little things like, you know, good promotional materials or cleaning supplies, things like that. So I definitely got the sense they knew what they were doing. I thought overall it was a very it's an interesting project. I got the sense that they have the capabilities to do this. I thought the overall application could have been better organized and more elaborated in certain key sections, though. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. Let's move on to our second reader, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you. I picked up on a lot of the same things that Sam had mentioned. I felt like I wanted to see some hard dates. For example, in the IDEA section, they talked about improving, you know, the areas of IDA through local not-for-profit organizations. I wanted to see more of a plan for that. High contrast programs they talked about, personal audio amplifications. I wanted just to see more about that, who they planned on contacting, when, how that was going to work out for this project. I thought they did a pretty good job of explaining what they were looking to do and how they intended to do it. I just wanted to see some more detail on dates, groups that they were going to utilize for various services, things of that kind of nature, things of that nature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jennifer. Any other comments from the panelists? Hearing none, why don't you make any of your updates on online comments and update your scores? And any more time? Okay, if not, I apologize my pronunciation on the next one, but Sociedad Cultural y Civica Reforma. That's number 8, and that's Esther Golden is our first reader.
Let me just get to that. I'm just taking it. It's taking time to load. Just a moment. Okay, so this is they've had the fact that they've had 14 wonderful years is really a testament to the success of this event. I thought the video gave a very good insight into the hard work and joy that goes into this event. It was, I think I watched it a couple times just because it was so happy. The group goes far beyond than this current event and what it provides. They provide scholarships and mentors. It was very easy to support what they were doing. The application got me very involved. The video content was excellent. The video and the website gives a really thorough look into what the SCCLR accomplishes. The only thing that I guess concerned me or that I wanted to mention, and it was based only on knowing the management and their number. I was not sure if the 8,900 that was stated was secured funding already. And I also noted that their marketing budget was $7,200 for advertising, communication, and budget was extremely generous. They also, and let me get to a quote from the application because it also gave me pause. Let's see. The event planning begins as soon as funding is available. It is continuous planning up until the day of the event. That I understand, but that was the 8,900 that I was concerned about, whether, since this is their 14 years, the 14 years of doing it, I'm guessing that they are very confident of the funding and already have everything in the works. But that was the only thing that gave me pause. And the event as presented looks spectacular. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Esther. And let's move on to our second reader, Barb.
I also like this project, and I like the added aspect of emphasizing authenticity as much as entertainment. I think that's important. Also that they feel it is an opportunity to acquaint students with the career opportunities in the performing arts that they might not have been aware of otherwise. So I think that enhances it too, especially when you're trying to appeal to that age level. I thought also that the staff members' duties are described, but not their experience. And again, I agree with the timeline. It seems to be rather rough and vague. So anyway, that's all my additional comments.
Thank you, Barb. Any panelist comments? Okay, hearing none, please update your scores and your online comments. Let me know if you need more time. Anyone need more time? If not, we'll move on to our number 9, Humane Indiana. And Judy, you are our first reader on this.
Okay, I really love this project. One of the things that being a retired educator who taught math, when they talk about STEM in education, which science, technology, engineering, and math, I always like it when instead of saying STEM, they use STEAM and they include that A in there to stand for arts. I think that the interpretation of nature and wildlife through art is extremely important. And I think it really, especially for young children, I think it provides a lot. It adds a lot to the instruction and gives them a way to express themselves. So I think that that's very important. They have a very well-established partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. And so they serve a very diverse population in the region. Their evaluation, I thought, was really appropriate when it comes to children. They're wanting to know what knowledge they gained and asking them about the things. Children are notoriously honest. So if you ask them to raise their hand if they like something or they don't like something or what they learned, they'll tell you. And the project management, budget, and timeline all seemed like they were very well thought out and done very well. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Let's move on to our second reader, Sam.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I share some things that Judy said, and I also have some concerns about this application. But I work in the arts and nature wildlife as well, so I was very excited with this idea and that it is established and so comprehensive across our region. That said, though, I felt the initial summary and mission statement were, again, very thin. And fleshing those out in this case could help better communicate to the public why this work is so important. And I do tend to think it is very important. Also, I found missing in the initial part a bit about like who would actually be leading and doing some of this work. This is brought up elsewhere in the proposal, and I'll get back to that. Some of the points under the idea section were not directly addressed, which is unfortunate because, again, this is another group that's doing the idea work already. They're staging this work in Gary, Lake Station, Hammond East, Chicago, as well as other communities in the region. So they're reaching low-income communities as well as middle and higher income. They're reaching communities of color as well as majority white communities. And I think all of that's commendable and should be intentionally told as part of their story. I did love the metrics that they use for measuring participants' knowledge, especially with children, and I will probably adopt that into my own practice. But I didn't see anything about measuring the metrics outside of that event setting. So what do they do after the fact? And then the one thing about project management, I noticed it seems like they're going to hire someone else to bring in an assistant, and I just wasn't clear from what they offered to a timeline on that, what the criteria and what the credentials of that assistant would be. So I was left, you know, is this something where they're going to have instructors with expertise, or is it going to be something where you got a lot of kids and there's a bit of chaos and energy and noise and we're getting through it? So I don't know myself, not having experienced it. I only go off what the application says, and that part left me a little uncertain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Is my audio okay, by the way, everyone? Okay, I switched back to the computer audio, so please take time to update your scores and comments on this particular application, and let me know if you need more time. Okay, everyone all ready? We'll move on to number 10, which is the Northwest Indiana Excellence in Theater Foundation. Jennifer, you're first up.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I have to scroll back up here. I thought this was a good application. I felt that the theater, the variety of performances in the different counties and the number of shows that they plan to have would reach a large portion of the people in the different counties. They're going to have shows in LaPorte, Porter, and Lake County at different locations, coffee houses, parks, open meeting areas, which I thought was really nice. It gives people of all different abilities the opportunity to attend the shows. I would have liked to have seen some more details for the programs and a schedule or a plan on when the programs would go into production and how long the preparation and productions would run for. In the IDEA section, again, I felt like they were hitting a large group of people, which allowed for all varieties to attend. But I didn't see much on the marketing of the project, the performances. I wanted to see a little bit more about that, how they plan to market to the different areas, the different communities, and also if they plan to use various languages, different methods to communicate their shows, social media or flyers. I wanted to see a little bit more of that because they are having it in 3 different counties. So how are you reaching the populations in these different counties? This is the first year that this project would be taking place. So I guess I just wanted to see a little bit more about how they plan to reach the public, as well as the timeline and preparation of the projects. They mentioned using a large amount of people to prepare for the project. In the project management section, 1,600 adults, 800 children, 100 artists. I wanted to know a little bit more about where they got those numbers from. They mentioned having 8 shows with about 6 performances, with an average attendance of 50 per show. So they're saying they expect to have 2,400 people to use for this project. I wanted to know where those numbers came from and how they plan to use the 800 children and the 1,600 adults, and a little bit more about what the artists would actually be doing. But otherwise, I think that they have a good idea of what they want to do. They know their target audiences and how they want to, where they want to do their productions at to make it accommodating for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you very much, Jennifer. We'll move on to our second reader, Esther Golden.
Thank you. I think it's a, I agree with Jennifer, and I also think it's a wonderful first-year offering of this scope, but they have previous experience. So I think this is a great launch for their wider plan. I like that their bigger plan is ambitious, and they cite wanting to have the prestige of like an Indie Fringe or a Chicago Theater Week or the Shakespeare Fest, which I can see happening in this area. I'm looking forward to them reaching those goals of people overnighting to enjoy multiple events. Wouldn't that help everybody? They have a huge volunteer participation with like $20,000 of in-kind services. So they have a lot of people who are supporting them. The budget shows that they have their projected, at least ticket sales, show that they have a very good theater patron support. And in their budget, they also had $4,000 for promotion. So, you know, I wish them great success. It would be great to have this type of theater event in our region. Thank you.
Is there any other comments from the panel? If not, go ahead and update your scores and online comments, and let me know if you need more time. Is everyone updated and ready to go? Okay, we will move on to the Michigan City Messiah. Barb, you are the first reader on this application.
Okay, just 1 second. They've been doing this for 55 years, so I guess they must know what they're doing. They have changed and expanded in response to their success. They started with the local churches and volunteer singers and have become more professional as the time has gone along, hiring professional singers and adding a full orchestral arrangement. The professional musicians and soloists audition for the music director. Brief resumes of the concertmaster, soloists, and principal musicians describe their qualifications and experience. There were YouTube excerpts from 3 of the concerts and photos that reinforced the artistic quality of this performance. Hold on. The high quality music experiences are offered for free, which is a great bonus, making them available to everyone. An interesting bonus is that the church where they rehearse has a soup kitchen, and the attendees there are welcome at the open rehearsals, which gives those people an opportunity they might not otherwise have. Although the performances are open to all, it appears that they only recruit volunteers and promote through area churches and places of worship, which seems to be a disadvantage. They use their website and social media to promote and to receive feedback via a comments box. The website offers quality audio excerpts from past concerts. I question the appropriateness of using the increase in free will donations as a measure of success. That to me doesn't sound realistic. That is the only quantifiable measurement that they offer. So the participation numbers are accurate because they are based on the size of the venue. Project staff is very well qualified and experienced. A detailed and reasonable timeline is provided. Supporting budget and financial statements are appropriate to the project. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Barb. We'll move on to Judy for second reader on this.
I love this project. It just checked all the boxes for me. Their marketing things, the videos were professionally done. It was just incredible. The inclusion of, you know, the principals, the soloists were professionals, but then the chorus, anybody who could sing, who wanted to sing. And if my memory is correct, I think that they also, in addition to recruiting through the churches, they also did some recruiting of students, the high school students that were in high school chorus. But I thought the whole thing was just really very well done.
Okay, very good. Any other panelist comments? Okay, hearing none, please update your scores and comments on this particular project. Okay, if you're all ready, we'll move on to number 12, the International Friendship Gardens Music Festival. Sam, you're first up on this as first reader.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, 13 years isn't 55 years, but I also get this group knows what it's doing. They're using the funds to pay performers, make promotional materials, publicity, and educational programming. I thought the sample materials were excellent. My only critique would be I wish they were a little longer. Wonderful to listen to. And I like their process of engaging their audience, and the audience has a shape and a voice in shaping who gets to, or who comes back to perform at this event. So there is that audience inclusion and participation aspect. Yeah, so they clearly describe how they use their surveys to shape their production. I like that their performances draw from different countries and cultures, and their artists that they have, the singers they have coming up, have excellent experience and background in what they do in Chicagoland area as well as around the world. Good, diverse lineup of singers that they have presented up there. They've made great efforts at ADA compliance on their beautiful grounds. And I like that they have some children involved in the planning and production and leadership of this organization. What I didn't see in the idea section, though, were specifics about how underserved communities were being engaged and served in the region. I know, especially in Michigan City, I think was it 50% to 2/3 of the population's living at the poverty level. And while community education programming is missing, is mentioned, I did not see any specifics about that in this proposal. You know, I think the idea concept that we do at the IAC isn't just slogans and words. It's a way to get us all here, especially those, you know, using state money to engage all Hoosiers. And I think I'd want to encourage all groups, just go for it. You know, opera and classical music is a very accessible art form, even though it doesn't always have that reputation. All kinds of people love it. And obviously we have an excellent group here. Go for it and just try to dive in and engage as much of the community as possible, especially those who maybe haven't had exposure to this wonderful music and the beautiful grounds of the gardens. As far as project management, again, they've been doing it for a long time, so I felt very confident there, but there wasn't an administrator's note that expenses and income figures did not match. It pretty close, but I think they were off by a couple $100. And the timeline for planning, promotion, and execution seemed clear to me. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Let's move on to Jennifer for her comments as second reader.
I agree with Sam. This project has been around for 13 years, so they're very familiar with how to get it up and running and what their goal is. I thought they did a great job of outlining the goals and determining how the funds would be used. In the IDEA section, they did mention that there was a paved way that was going to be added in August of this year. So I'm curious as to what else they plan to have done to provide accommodations. Have they considered American Sign Language interpreter specializing in the arts for the hearing impaired? Also offer discount specialists for seniors, adults, or children under a certain age. I wanted to see a little bit more of that in their application. But I did appreciate that they are making some headway in the area of the IDA. Same comments as Sam for the project management and the finance section. The expense and incomes did not match. And otherwise, I felt that this is a great program for the community of Michigan City. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. Panelists, any comments you'd like to make? Hearing none, go ahead and update your scores and comments online and let me know if you need more time. Okay, anyone need any more time? All right, we will move on to number 13, Neighbors Broadcasting doing business as Wvlt. Esther Golden is excused from this one for being involved with the station, as am I, but I'm just a moderator. So Barb, please go ahead.
Okay, hold on one sec till I get to my comments section here.
No problem.
Almost there. Okay. Applicant provides a very thorough description of the project for original local arts program on WVLP radio. These programs have been running successfully for 9 years. They include the history of the project as well as identification of the hosts and examples of past guests. Each of the 3 programs that would be funded are also documented with background information on the hosts and highlights of past programming. The audio files from each program allow for experiencing them and noting the quality that they offer. To accommodate listeners in multiple ways, WVLP not only broadcasts over the air, but also offers on-demand podcasts and internet streaming, which is pretty valuable these days, especially with the range of their radio signal. The programming serves local arts organizations and artists and the listeners by highlighting local arts offerings and offering live in-studio music performances that might not otherwise be heard. Input is solicited from the local arts community and artists, as well as listeners. The plan includes developing a mailing list for a new quarterly newsletter and a listener survey. Provided are quantitative goals for completed surveys. They've provided links for the website and social media. Participants are projected from host and guests per broadcast. Oops, hold on. Scrolled right past the rest of it. Qualifications, experience, and functions of the project management exemplify professionalism, planning and timeline are well documented, project budget meets all requirements, and financial documents are complete. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Barb. Sam, you are our second reader on the WVLP grant.
And taking us home and wrapping this thing up. Friends, radio is the most democratic form of communication, I think, that's out there. Now, radio, it's a critical public community infrastructure, and VLP just does an amazing job of informing the Valpo community, but also engaging the entire regional community. Yeah, everything that was mentioned about their surveys and expanding the communication with their audience. I feel they're very intimately connected with their audience. I like that they've got this podcasting and on-demand downloading. And I guess my only question would be, you know, how can they engage groups within Valpo that are not already part of their listening audience? And a question for all of us is, how do we get something like this in every community in Indiana? I am serious. As far as project management, these people are pros. I've seen them at work. So with that, I'm going to end this. Thank you so much.
Okay, Sam, thank you. Any other comments from the panelists? Okay, hearing none, update your scores and online comments. Is everyone complete? Well, folks, that was our last one. I appreciate having the chance, if we got through the technical glitch on my end of getting in there, for all the panelists. This will conclude the Region 1 Arts Project Support Panel number 2. Applicants will be notified as the status of their grant following approval from the Indiana Arts Commissioner's June meeting. If you have any questions, contact the one and only Donna Catalano, South Shore Arts. I would like to thank all the panelists for serving today and for your service to the Indiana Arts Commission and also Region 1. And that will conclude this portion of it. Please stay tuned, panelists, so we can do a little follow-up meeting here.